Insurance, a legacy of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson and the Adahi Tano program. Cars Plus, home of Guam's first and only lifetime limited powertrain warranty. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurants, always open, always local, and serving up favorites for over 40 years.
Coming up on Primetime, the Rapid Engagement Team continues its efforts in testing the Gilbaza and Zero Down subdivisions up in Jigo. Plus, a rise in coronavirus positive cases has your government's isolation facility full. And your elected senators head back into session this afternoon, voting on several bills.
Hafa and good evening. I'm Adriana Cotero. We begin with the latest from the Joint Information Center. Since Friday night, there have been a total of 248 new cases of COVID-19. That's out of 1,503 samples ran through labs. Guam's current COVID case count is now 3,675 people infected with the virus since March. There are 1,315 active cases, while more than 2,200 people have recovered. The numbers reflect samples taken over the weekend at the community outreach held at the Jigo Gym and the results from the Rapid Engagement Team outreach in the Gilbaza and Zero Down areas. The Rapid Engagement Team outreach will continue today. As of this morning, there were 59 COVID patients hospitalized at the Guam Memorial Hospital. 11 are receiving ICU level of care, 3 are on ventilators, and 6 are at the COVID isolation facility in Barrigada Heights. Additionally, the nurses that were scheduled to arrive over the weekend will instead land on Guam on October 22nd. That's according to Guam Memorial Hospital Administrator Lillian Posadas, saying even more help will be arriving to assist the hospital.
10 ICU nurses are arriving, yes. And then the following week, the 27 or the 29, additional nurses, I think 10 or even possibly 20, who are at the level of practice progressive care unit or telemetry. That's what we've requested.
As of last night, there were 4 COVID patients hospitalized at GRMC, with 1 in the ICU and 3 at Naval Hospital. 2 of them are receiving ICU level of care. Public Health's Rapid Engagement Team returned to Jigo today to continue door-to-door testing of residents in the Gilbaza and Zero Down areas. According to Public Health spokesperson Janela Carrera, the team was not able to complete their mission last week. Out of the 291 residents that were tested last week, 81 returned positive for COVID-19.
74 of the 81 were successfully isolated. The remaining 7 are one household unit. 2 of them are in the isolation facility. So those were the assessments that were made by our containment and isolation team. And so I just want to point out that, isolation doesn't always necessarily mean that we take every individual into the isolation facility. Because we assess the suitability of their homes, and if they are suitable, we're able to successfully isolate them at home. And in some instances, it might actually be better because there may be multiple positives at the home. Like in one instance, there were multiple positives, like 7 positive cases in one household. Then it would be better for them to just isolate and treat that home as its own isolation facility.
Running parallel with the outreach in the Gilbaza and Zero Down areas, over the weekend, Public Health, in partnership with the FSM community, hosted an outreach at the Jigo Gym. At least 155 of the 200 registered for testing actually participated. Out of the 155 swabs, 33 returned positive. According to FSM Consul General Teresa Philippin, more outreach like the testing conducted at the Jigo Gym will be held in the future. The first of 4 targeted community COVID testings was held at the Jigo Gym over the weekend. Public Health is planning 3 others up north, which has seen a higher incidence of positive cases. Nestor Lecanto reports.
About 156 people out of the 200 that were registered were tested. The 3 other testing sites have not yet been confirmed, but FSM Consul General Teresa Philippin is helping with the public outreach campaign and pre-registering of people to be tested.
That way we can, make sure that people show up, not, stand in line for so long and not be able to get tested because, they run out of testing kits.
The data shows that Chuquis residents in particular and the FSM community in general have a higher per capita COVID infection rate, mainly due to socioeconomic conditions such as lack of access to health care and multi-generational homes. But Philippine points out it could also be due to general public exposure.
And most of our folks are in the front line of the industry here, of service industry. So they're subjected to, coming in contact with people every day in the service area. There are and has been negative reactions to this, and people feel, it's a very sensitive matter. When you say, oh, you're Chuquis or you're FSM, that's why you're spreading the virus. That shouldn't be really the case here. Everybody is susceptible to this virus, and everybody should get all the information that they need to get to know how serious this virus is.
The consulate is appealing to the FSM community to follow the guidance of the health experts and to adjust accordingly.
If it means to minimize certain cultural practices or cultural activities, just so that we don't, the infection rate, we don't spread the spreading of the virus, is minimized or mitigated, then that's what we need to do. That's the message that we need to get out there. The concern is just not, restricted to or subjected to our FSM folks. This is to everybody. Everybody in Guam, should be very, very concerned.
For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
The Port Authority of Guam hasn't missed a beat since the pandemic, but it doesn't mean the agency has been immune to COVID. As General Manager Roy Respicio says, 3 more employees tested positive.
We did have some testing done Friday morning as a result of contact tracing efforts. 2 were determined positive from those tests. And so it would mean another 14 employees will be tested on Tuesday. We did have a 3rd positive case that was identified by Public Health's contact tracing team, but that employee's been out for about 12 days now. So there is no contact tracing efforts with that latest positive case.
In total, 18 port employees have tested positive for the coronavirus since the island saw its first positive case in March. Angura's Section 8 office was closed today due to an employee who recently tested positive for COVID-19. Gura's internal contact tracing is underway, and all other employees identified as close contacts will be tested. Affected areas of Gura are scheduled for cleaning and disinfection. Operations will resume on Tuesday. Over at the Department of Rev and Tax, operations continue this week, despite an employee there who tested positive. According to the JIC, working with Public Health, Rev and Tax previously instituted alternating work group schedules, often referred to as bubbles, to comply with health and safety protocols. This helped ensure continuity of services in the event of potential or actual exposure. Meanwhile, early payments of nearly 10,000 tax refunds totaling approximately $23.7 million will be mailed out this week. These are for filers with error-free returns filed on or before April 17th. The swelling number of COVID cases has caused a backup at the government's isolation facility, as positive cases are waiting to check in.
So our isolation facility at the Bayview is full, but we are working on, for the rooms that are dirty, we are working on cleaning and disinfecting those rooms so that we can make those available.
Public Health spokesperson Janela Carrera says there are a total of 125 rooms at the Bayview. 89 people are seeking isolation there. 24 rooms are currently being disinfected to free up more space. Additionally, the Garden Court Ocean View is another government isolation facility, but it's on standby for use when the Bayview is filled to capacity. It looks like a slap on the wrist isn't enough to get a certain southern restaurant to follow pandemic protocols. Now the question is whether or not Public Health has the power to enforce their own mandates. Peter Santos reports.
The Department of Public Health and the Guam Police Department responded to yet another complaint about McCrout's restaurant in Malolo. As we reported last week, a viral video depicted McCrout's restaurant well over 25% capacity with no COVID guidelines being followed. This week, they're making headlines yet again. Chief of Police Steve Ignacio.
We responded to McCrout's in Malolo a second time again this weekend, and another, I understand that another notice of violation was issued to the establishment.
With the rising numbers of COVID cases, many are calling for a more serious reaction to establishments who are non-compliant, some calling on GPD to step in and cite the establishments, but Chief Ignacio says it doesn't work that way.
Again, the Guam Police Department does not issue violations or citations in these instances. This is a public health emergency, and so that is left with the public health agency.
But it seems even public health isn't too sure of the extent of their authority.
We're working with the AG's office as well to get further guidance on what our authority is as far as being able to close down a restaurant. Because at this point, our authority is limited. So we may not just be able to close down an establishment.
According to Public Health PIO Janela Carrera, they've been out to McCrouts more than a few times.
We've been getting multiple complaints about McCrouts. So our team did go out. We've actually gone out, I believe it's 4 or 5 times now.
A recent letter from the Office of the Adjutant General took things up a notch, specifically citing McCrouts restaurant's non-compliance and prohibiting service members of the National Guard from patronizing the establishment, stating that, quote, any violation of this order is subject to administrative and/or disciplinary actions. The order went into effect on the 16th and will remain in effect until rescinded by the Adjutant General, Esther Agagi. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Peter Santos.
The Guam Police Department doesn't have the power to issue citations when people violate the governor's executive orders, but GPD Chief Stephen Ignacio says they're working on it.
I've been in discussion with the AG's office and also with the governor's legal counsel, and I think we are working on maybe a path forward in requesting to introduce legislation, but that's a discussion that's still in the making.
Currently, GPD responds to complaints from residents who report violations of the governor's executive orders, but the most they can do is provide consultation. According to Ignacio, they haven't ran into any issues when they respond, as most residents end up complying. And Guam police arrested one of their own today. 30-year-old Matthias Dylan Lazama was arrested for unlawfully discharging several shots from his firearm. According to a GPD press release, the incident occurred at 1:25 a.m. in Chalancurtan, Troso, Dedido. Surrounding neighbors informed officers that Lazama was involved in a verbal argument when he allegedly shot off his gun. Lazama was off duty at the time. He was transported to the Dedido Precinct Command, was booked and released. He has been placed on administrative leave by Chief Stephen Ignacio. The case has been forwarded to the Office of the Attorney General for prosecution and GPD's Internal Affairs section for an administrative investigation. Stick around for more news here on Primetime. You're watching KUAM.
While we've all been through a lot over the years,
typhoons, earthquakes, and now COVID-19,
we've been able to get through these together.
For more than 80 years,
Travelers Insurance has been protecting your homes, your businesses,
and the health of your family.
We are here today and we'll be here tomorrow.
There are better days ahead. Tomorrow's a new day filled with hope and choices.
The possibilities of what we can achieve together are limitless.
Let's continue to work together to ensure a brighter tomorrow for all of us.
You could upgrade to the sparkly sprinkle pack on Cupcake Conquest. Or you could upgrade to all this. 2 crunchy tacos and a medium drink. Plus the beefy cheesy layers of the Grande Stacker Box. Only at Taco Bell.
I'm Hope Benavente de los Reyes, and I'm voting for Joe.
I'm Ray Leonger. I'm voting for Joe.
My name is Michael Gofigan Tapasnia, and I am voting for Joe.
I am Kathy Leon Guerrero, and I'm voting for Joe.
I am Rose Tapasnia Mesa, and I am voting for Joe.
I am Joanne Kennedy, and I'm voting for Joe.
I am Ernie Caceres. I am voting for Joe.
I'm Benjamin D. Mesa Jr. I'll be voting for Joe.
I am Anne Leon Guerrero. I am voting for Joe.
I'm Pete Johnson, and I'm voting for Joe.
I'm Senator Joe Shimizu St. Augustine, and I approve this message.
I'm ready for Robert in this election. He is a proven leader. He's passionate about his home and the people of Guam. He can pick up where I left off and not miss opportunities to benefit our people. Beyond being a good friend of Robert and having tremendous respect for his work, I know that he will do much more to represent our people in Congress. Robert will be accessible to our people. We desperately need someone in Congress that will work in a bipartisan manner. We live in a very challenging time. He will be an ethical leader. And for these reasons, I will vote for Robert Underwood for Congress and will do whatever it takes to support him. Yes, I'm ready for Robert. Si Diyos Masi.
I'm Robert Underwood, and I approve this message.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
Welcome back. Senators wrapped up the October legislative session by passing 13 bills and confirming the nominations of almost 24 board and commission members and Public Health Director Arthur San Augustine. The wide-ranging legislation covered issues such as Senator Regine Lee's bill to set up a task force to explore the feasibility of insuring the reefs in Tumon, a measure by Senator Luis Muñoz authorizing public health to implement school-located vaccination programs, a bill by Senator Kelly Marsh to include the principles of sustainability in the Guam Comprehensive Development Plan, a measure by Senator Tello Taitagui that increases the claims limit for government negligence, a bill by Senator Joe San Augustine to allow tax credits for a private group to rehabilitate the Harmon Industrial Park, and a measure by Senator Clint Rogel to ensure greater transparency over salary adjustments for employees by boards of autonomous agencies. Republican Senator James Moylan issued a statement criticizing the lack of legislation to address job creation and economic diversification during the current pandemic. He complained that none of his bills addressing these issues made it on the agenda. The measures passed today now head to Adelup for the governor's consideration. Chief Judge Francis Hidinko Gatewood issues an order granting to extend the stay in the clergy sexual abuse lawsuit by 90 days. According to the order documents, the court finds good cause to extend the stay for all cases through January 15, 2021. This ultimately provides parties more time to resolve further settlements and address outstanding services issues. It's further ordered that in the event a settlement is not achieved by mid-January, then parties must file their scheduling and planning conference reports by February 1st. The court will not consider further requests to extend the settlement stay beyond January 15th, and we should add, as of September 21st, a total of 281 sexual abuse claims have been filed in Guam. A court order unseals federal drug defendant Brandon Kenyatta's plea agreement court documents. Kenyatta entered a plea in April this year for conspiracy to distribute 50 or more grams of meth. According to the agreement back in 2018, he was stateside visiting relatives when he agreed to distribute 223 grams of meth that was mailed into Maurito's post office. Investigators intercepted two suspicious packages and replaced the drugs with sham. Further documents detail Kenyatta waited for the packages to arrive with one for him and a second for another man. On February 14, 2018, the man and his niece picked up the packages, drove to a house in Maurito, which signaled agents. DEA interviewed Kenyatta, and as stated in documents, the defendant informed agents of various drug dealings and distributions of meth into Guam. He also admitted the packages were for him and his friend. Kenyatta's sentencing hearing has been set for January 14, 2021. More news from District Court. 40-year-old Jacob James Kittigwa was sentenced to 57 months in federal prison, with credit for time served and a supervised release term of 3 years. He was arrested and detained in November 2017 for picking up a package containing nearly 2 pounds of meth, which was intercepted by the feds. He pled guilty to 1 count of attempted possession of meth with intent to distribute. During a sentencing hearing this afternoon, defense counsel Leilani Lujan motioned for variance, explaining to the court how her client has childhood trauma and struggles with addiction. Kittigwa telling Chief Judge Francis Hidinko Gatewood he was raised by a bad hand, stating, quote, "When I was growing up, it didn't seem like it was a bad thing to do. I thought this was how people were being raised," unquote. Holding back tears, he continued, stating, "I wanted to do what they were doing so I could stop being abused. I am really sorry for what I have done. I really am," unquote. The court granted the motion, lessening the sentence term by 6 months. And with regional headlines, here's KSPN2 News.
Hafaday Guam, here are the headlines for CNMI.
The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development has approved the CNMI's Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Action Plan, which brings in $244 million into the CNMI. Through the hard work of the Northern Marianas Housing Corporation and several federal partners, this is a huge opportunity to address the unmet recovery needs of the CNMI after Typhoon Sodolor and Super Typhoon Yutu.
This is historic. This is a historic award. This is perhaps the biggest one single award in the history of the Commonwealth. And it's good because it provides for housing as well as a major portion for infrastructure development of our Commonwealth.
NMHC Corporate Director Jesse Palacios says 43% of the money will be used for housing, another 43% for infrastructure, and the rest will go to economic development. For the economic development.
We asked hard for a waiver, and they approved up to $10 million of the CDBGDR money for promotion and marketing efforts. So, and you know, this is really not an activity that is an eligible activity, but because the CNMI relies on tourism, they allowed this activity to be approved and to be given the money for, you know, for our economy.
Palascio speaks on another great thing coming out from this funding.
The CDBGDR money can also be used for matching. So, you know, for the FEMA projects that require 10% match, this money can be used for matching. So, you know, the CNMI doesn't have to put in local money for that. We can use CDBGDR money for matching.
A significant amount of the money will also be going to projects on Rhoda and Tinian for home repairs. NMHC began working on the action plan since February of 2019. They began identifying a list of community priorities and projects and even underwent numerous revisions to accommodate new priorities. On August 31, NMHC officially submitted the action plan to HUD for review, and early this morning it was approved, only awaiting the governor's signature and execution. Reporting for KSPN News, I'm Sally Limis.
For more news, visit saipantv.com. For KSPN2 News, I'm Ashley McDowell.
And now time for our weekly Fanatic Zoom Zone segment, where Dave Delgado catches up with the local NFL fans and talks about their love of the game and predictions for the season.
Dave Delgado here for this week's Fanatic Zoom Zone. With me, Linda Salas, who reps the Black and Yellow. Tell us when the love for the Steelers first started.
When I was a kid, back in the 70s, early 80s, during Terry Bradshaw, Franco Harris, Jack Lambert, during that time.
Game day traditions?
Watching it with family, waving the terrible towel, wearing my jerseys, of course, and my hats, and going to bars and get rowdy.
Which team do you look forward to facing every season?
In their division, of course, I always hated the Ravens. But when it comes to the whole conference, I hate the Patriots because they've taken away many times with the Steelers. Other than that, because I have siblings who have their own teams, their favorite teams, I like to go up against them and smash mouth my brothers, which is the Cowboys, Raiders, Vikings, and 49ers.
All-time favorite players?
Of course, Mean Joe Green and Troy Polamalu.
With October Breast Cancer Awareness Month all week long, our Joan Augen-Charfres introduces us to incredible breast cancer warriors and how awareness is power.
Think Pink, Awareness is Power is brought to you by Island Cancer Center.
Meet 45-year-old Darlene Roberto. Roberto, who is currently an assistant principal at Southern High School, has been cancer-free for 10 years. It was on August 2010 when she woke up one morning and felt an excruciating pain on her left breast. She went in to get it checked, and on September 30th, she had received her diagnosis, breast cancer.
It was really a shock because I'm actually a really positive person, and I really thought that it was just maybe some kind of inflammation, that, you know, I'm not someone that would get cancer. So it was actually a shock. I actually got my diagnosis. I received it all by myself. So it was really, really, really scared that day.
After telling her family, Roberto said the doctor wanted to operate right away, but she first wanted to do the research and find out what options are available to her. So she reached out to her friends who were medical professionals for guidance.
In this fight, you know, the oncologists are going to want to just pump you up with medicines. The surgeons just want to chop you up. So you need to find yourself a doctor, get some other opinions on whether or not you should have this surgery, you know, have a mastectomy. Put me, I was able to focus. I felt like there was hope after hearing from them and hearing their medical expertise. I really was very happy with the FHP Cancer Center at the time. It was very seamless, and everything was in order. I didn't have to worry about anything.
She says surrounding herself with positive people helped lift her spirits and helped her get through the ups and downs from radiation.
I really have to say thank you to my friends and my family, especially my mullies. I mean, they were just right by me, because it was really a shock to everyone that I got this diagnosis. And gosh, they were just and even people at my school. I didn't really tell so many people. So they were so supportive. They were giving me sour sap juice to drink. They were giving me, I mean, all these things. They were so concerned. And I really felt that they loved me, and they want to see me beat this thing.
To Roberto, the theme "Awareness is Power" means stressing the importance of screening.
I encourage every woman out there, get to know your body. Check your breast all the time. Do your mammograms. Don't miss those appointments. And if they do find something, even if it's scary, you need to go, because you will never know until you get more tests done. Breast cancer is no longer a death sentence. There's treatment out there, especially if we can detect it early enough, and we can save lives.
Lastly, this cancer warrior has this to say.
Being hopeful helps you survive this thing. Can't be negative about it. Give yourself a good 24 hours, and that's it. Get ready to fight this thing.
Think Pink, Awareness is Power is brought to you by Island Cancer Center.
Coming up next, a look at the weather for the week. You're watching KUAM.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Mas.
Action Pack asks you, are you better off today than you were 2 years ago? It's time to create positive change. Take action, Guam, and stand with the pack in this 2020 election. Join us as we support candidates who help businesses restore the more than 30,000 jobs already lost. Guam needs leaders who support all the people of Guam. Let your voice be heard and vote with the pack. You may be one vote, but together we have the power to make a difference. Visit actionpackguam.com to learn more.
Hafide Guam, this is Telo Tairigui. Fighting for you has been my honor, regardless of the politics and the challenges we faced. I've worked hard every day to improve GMH facilities, fund security cameras for public safety, support road repairs, and call out legislation and decisions that break the people's trust in government. The fight for these priorities isn't over. It's just begun. I'm Telo Tairigui. I approve this message and humbly ask for your vote. Situs Masing, maraming salamat po. Thank you, Guam.
Hafide, I am George Bamba, a Republican and former senator in the Guam legislature and chief of staff to two Republican governors, Paul Cavo and Felix Camacho. Even though Robert Underwood and I haven't always been on the same side of the political fence, I respect him and have worked with him resolving issues important to our people and our island while Robert was in Congress and as president of the University of Guam. I have always had a deep respect for Robert personally and professionally, and continue to do so. At this critical time in our island's history, we need Robert's wisdom and experience to fight for all of us in Washington, D.C. He is a trustworthy and more than capable candidate for Congress, and that is why I am ready for Robert Underwood.
I'm Robert Underwood, and I approve this message.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at the weather for this week. Here's Landon Aidlet.
For the month of September, actually we're in October now, aren't we? COVID months, they fly by. Let me turn my camera around. There we go. So for the month of September, you can find this on our webpage. If you look for our climatology, we are at 11 inches plus for the month, and that's about 4 inches above normal. On, let's see, October 11th, we did set a daily rainfall record. We had 3 inches of rain that day, breaking the record that was set in the 1960s. So yeah, we've had some wet days, and it's still possible with these showers and thunderstorms, they could dump locally heavy amounts of showers. Not everybody gets that heavy rainfall, but some isolated areas do. And that's just indicative of this pattern with these weak trade wind disturbances passing through our region. But yeah, September or October is definitely wetter than it's normally supposed to be at this time. So that's good for us as far as drought conditions.
Right. Well, you had me at cumulonimbus. What is that?
That's my favorite cloud. That's the cumulonimbus. Those are those convective clouds that build up very tall vertically. They can get upwards of 30, 40, 50,000 feet up in the atmosphere. And then they reach that stable layer in the atmosphere, the stratosphere, and they flatten out and they go out looks like an anvil. So we call them anvil clouds. That's the shorthand term for cumulonimbus. And those are those thunderstorm producers.
Right. Yeah. Cumulonimbus.
And
Cumulonimbus. Don't say it a lot because you're going to cause a thunderstorm. You say it 5 times fast. Hey, Atlanta, just a little bit more on the thunder and the lightning, because last week it was just crazy loud in EPAN. I mean, it was shaking the windows.
Yeah. Definitely, we had a lot of upper level support in the atmosphere, and I'm going to turn. Oh, I'm still there. Are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, let me turn you around. So we're looking at the satellite. Last week we had a lot of upper level support with the upper level troughs and stuff. It's not that impressive right now. So these blue lines, if you can see those, I'm going to dim that. So the blue lines, those are the wind flow pattern in the upper atmosphere. So we have this large anticyclonic spin up there clockwise. So that's fair weather in the atmosphere. But as far as upper level support, we don't really have that much support here. What we want to see is a troughing, like right here, that curvature and a low level pressure motion. When we have that moving through the area, that can give that upper level support to help induce that deeper vertical convection. That's where we have that deep convection, the showers and thunderstorms, where you want that weather, the ice particles, to get way up in the atmosphere. You build that frictional charges, and then you have your updrafts and your downdrafts, and then you have the thunderstorms. A lot of good stuff there.
So if there's a lot of thunder, I could say, gosh, these cumulonimbus clouds are hovering over our island, and I'll sound really smart, right?
You sound like you know what you're talking about.
Just don't say gosh.
Did you know what they were, Chris?
I don't want to make it look bad, but yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Bree's just trying to do something so she can get like another 100 followers on Instagram by like she's shooting her shot with the cumulonimbus knowledge.
Yeah. Now, if you see those sitting over the island, that's you can know if it's sitting over the island, it's dumping some pretty heavy showers and some thunderstorms in a small isolated area, and that's where we can get our flash flood situations, especially like in the southern mountains where the creeks and the rivers are. So if you see those over the island sitting in place, it's bad news for whoever's within that vicinity.
Coming up, your birthday shout-outs from the Coldstone Creamery Birthday Club. Keep it here.
Looking really good.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist. Over 20 years of experience.
100% truck, 100% Jeep brand. The all-new Jeep Gladiator is the most capable off-road mid-size pickup truck crafted for adventure. Equipped with best-in-class towing capacity, legendary Jeep brand 4x4 capability, and backed by Guam's only lifetime powertrain warranty. Drive home in a brand new Jeep Gladiator today, starting as low as $283 per paycheck during Jeep Adventure Days. Call us at 477-7807 or visit our website at carsplusguam.com to get pre-approved today.
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shout-outs from the Coldstone Creamery Birthday Club.
Happy birthday on this October 19th to Rose Anderson Cruz. Happy belated retirement. Hey, congratulations. And happy birthday, Rose Anderson Cruz, from your GWHS Gecko family. We're sending you special wishes your way to have a delightful day. Hey, happy belated retirement from us too at KUAM. That's awesome. ASCII Jewel, happy birthday number 2 to our Bonita baby. Love mommy, daddy, and your sisters. Happy birthday number 44 to Bruce Santos. Enjoy your day, says your loving family. Happy 44th, Bruce. Donovan Kyla Toigui blows out the candles today, so happy birthday to my boy. Enjoy your special day and have a blessed and wonderful day. We love you so much, says your family. Alexandra Julia Samante, happy birthday to my niece. Alexandra, we hope you have a wonderful day. Also, happy birthday to Sunny Mesa, whose special day is today. We love you on this October 19th and all days of the year from your adoring family. Jocelyn Marie Tyron has a birthday today, and happy blessed birthday to my daughter. Hope you enjoy your day. From your mom, Natalia, Natasha, and the family, they say we love you, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. No fewer than 4. So that means it's for real. That's legit. That's awesome. Deidre Conception, happy birthday number 8, all the way in Albuquerque, New Mexico. From the entire Concepcion familia, we love and miss you. Be safe out there in New Mexico. Sarah Titano has a birthday, and you are the greatest daughter and big sister ever. We love you so much, says your whole family. And Javier, you are one of the most beautiful gifts that ever happened to us, Javier Jude. For that, we thank God for giving us a wonderful, loving, and caring grandson. Happy birthday, Javier Jude. Love you. Say Papa Ed and Mama May. That's a heartfelt shout out. Great job. And happy belated birthday wishes going out to Jacob Anthony Titano, who was born on October 18th. Jacob, may the Lord continue to bless you with many more years to come. Love, your adoring family. And Liam Palacios, who was born on the 16th. Happy birthday, Liam Carter. Love, your family. Hope each and every one of you is staying safe, being healthy, taking care of yourself, taking care of others, taking care of our island, and making sure that you are having the best birthday ever.
Remember, you can be part of the Coldstone Creamery Birthday Club by registering online on KUAM.com. Please make sure to include with your photo your name and birthday. That's going to do it for us here on Prime Time. Thanks for watching. Have a good night and be safe.
All right, Hafa and welcome to another episode of KUAM News Extra. I want to thank you so much for watching, wherever it is that you're watching, on TV8, TV11, social media, or our KUAM News YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. And what I like to do on my show is feature people, individuals, organizations, groups that are doing good in our community, whether on a large scale or a smaller, more intimate, personal scale. That's what I like to focus on, and we're going to continue that here today. And joining me, we have Jolene Parduccio, and Jolene is the visitor monitor at Erica's house, which is right here in my neighborhood. So Jolene, thank you so much for joining the show.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Now, on the last episode, I talked to Cynthia from the Guam Coalition, with who I'm sure you're familiar with because you probably work closely with them. And she talked about how the Guam Coalition Against Sexual Assault and Family Violence, they're kind of the broader picture organization that makes sure people go to the right places to seek that help. But you over there at Erica's house, you're kind of the front lines. You are dealing that face-to-face interactions with individuals. So I'd love to get your perspective on a lot of things, but let's go ahead and start with a little bit about Erica's house. I've seen the signs. As I said, it's right here in my neighborhood, but I'm not exactly sure what exactly Erica's house is. So for myself and many other people out there that may be wondering, what exactly is Erica's house?
Erica's house is the only family visitation center on our island. And what we do is we help assist in the exchange of children between their mother and their father, or even their grandparents and their parents, or whoever has custody of the children, and the individuals that would like to see them or have visitations with them. And we also provide on-site visitations for that same reason. And usually it's available to everyone in the community that have children together, but they're no longer together either because of irreconcilable differences, or maybe there was actually abuse that had happened or had occurred during their relationship.
Okay, so we see the term thrown around a lot lately in a figurative sense, but this is an actual safe space where the visitation is monitored closely. People do have, their privacy, I'm sure, but you do make sure that everybody's, on their best behavior. Or what exactly do you do when a couple gets together and has their child there for that visitation? How is this meeting run?
So our facility is, the layout of our facility is there are two separate entrances. So one for the women and those who are authorized on their behalf to come here to either transport their child or children or participate in the visitation. And then the other side is for the men and those that are authorized on their behalf for the same reason. So when our clients come here, we have gone over orientation with them, and so they're aware that they need to come at staggered times, and that is to help prevent them possibly driving into the facility at the same time. So there's no visual or maybe even verbal interaction between them. They enter the facility on different sides, and then the staff is the one that will be the ones to relay or communicate messages from one party to the other, as long as it's in reference to the children or any concerns that they want to address before they do leave the facility with their child or children.
100% truck, 100% Jeep brand. The all-new Jeep Gladiator is the most capable off-road mid-size pickup truck crafted for adventure. Equipped with best-in-class towing capacity, legendary Jeep brand 4x4 capability, and backed by Guam's only lifetime powertrain warranty. Drive home in a brand new Jeep Gladiator today, starting as low as $283 per paycheck during Jeep Adventure Days. Call us at 477-7807 or visit our website at carsplusguam.com to get pre-approved today.
It makes myself and it makes my team members very proud to work for an organization that has been on island for many years with its focus on reliability, dependability, and commitment to the communities that they operate in.
Matson's a great corporate citizen to the community.
We all benefit from any sort of environmental commitment we make. One of the ways that we do that is with our Adahi Utano program. There's action behind it, and so action breeds commitment.
With the Kaimana Gila coming to Guam, this brings a new age and modernization to the island.
It's exciting for me because it's a brand new ship and we can carry more freight into the islands. It just shows growth for Guam and Micronesia.
Matson would be nothing without its customers, and we hope to continue to serve you for decades to come.
Hafade, I'm Tony Atta. I'm running to be your senator in the 36th Guam legislature. Together, we will build a Guam with a more resilient and diverse economy. Together, we will make our neighborhoods safer for our families. Together, we will streamline government spending by passing a realistic, responsible budget. I'm Tony Atta, and I humbly ask for your vote. I'm number 7 on the Republican side of the ballot, and together we will. I'm Tony Atta, and I approve this message.
So do you, over there at Erica's house, do you schedule these meetings and set it up? Because, sometimes maybe it doesn't have to be a really bad situation that this couple needs to use your services. Maybe, just scheduling things and finding the time and place where everybody feels safe and comfortable. There's no other family around. Do you handle all that to kind of take that weight off of the individuals?
We can. So there's 2 ways that people can use our services. The more commonly used and more well-known method of using our services is through the court order. So if they're currently going through the court program or using court services and they inquire or request to use our services, then they're ordered to do so. Or even if the judge refers them to use our services and they end up being ordered, that's one way that they can use our services. The other way would be if they would like to use our services without a court order. So like you mentioned, if it's really not that bad between them, they just never can agree on a certain meeting time or meeting place, and to alleviate that between them, and so that the children are also not witnesses to their arguments and their disagreements and all that, then they can call us to see if they can use our services. And that would be under a voluntary referral program. The only thing with that though is it's through agreement by the parties. So if both parties don't agree to use our services and to follow the rules under that service, then unfortunately we won't be able to provide them the use of our
Now, you would prefer that the situations don't get to the point where they need your services over there at Erica's house. But the fact is that, hey, it happens. And, you brought up a good point there with the kids not, seeing these arguments, seeing all these things, because they do have a lasting impact on children and their well-being. And when they get older, their views on relationships and how they're conducted. I was talking to Cynthia about that it's kind of a generational thing. So these kids see, mom and dad, they're fighting all the time. Well, that's just how relationships are. And you guys, I think it's a great service where you're taking that confrontational aspect out of it, where it's just a nice meeting. I get to see dad, get to see mom, and everyone is hopefully on their best behavior.
Usually they are, since they know we're observing them and documenting how they interact with not only their children when they're here, but also with staff. Because in a nutshell, we're kind of like the messengers. So
you're the middleman. You kind of, hey, all right, so-and-so says this, so-and-so would like to agree on this. And, I think it helps, because sometimes, those relationships, they get to the point where as soon as they start talking about something, the walls go up, the defenses go up, and it ends up nobody gets anywhere. So having that middle person, that kind of a moderator, so to speak, to just kind of help ease that. Well, hey, I believe that we can come to an agreement and we can figure this out for the good of the children or anyone that's involved, instead of just the couple. So I'm sure you've got quite a bit on your plate as far as that goes. Now, one thing I've been, it's a theme really in the past few months I've been doing this show, is the pandemic, the lockdown. And so, Jolene, we're going to take a break right now, but when we come back, we are going to talk about the pandemic and how it has affected your operations over there at Erica's house. So stay with us. We'll be back shortly. All right, and welcome back to KUAM News Extra, talking with Jolene Parduccio at Erica's house, the visitation monitor. And before the break, I mentioned that the pandemic, it's kind of all-encompassing. It's taken over everything. It's shut down a lot of things. And in your line of work over there at Erica's house, a lot of it is that personal contact, having people come in, sit down, have a chat, maybe a little hug, a handshake here and there. But you can't do that. So how has the pandemic affected your operations, and how have you kind of had to change things around a little bit during it?
So first and foremost, how the pandemic affected Erica's house is that we actually had to close. So we had to cease services to all of our clientele. But prior to us closing, we did do our best to help parties that are using us for the exchange service, where they're able to pick up their children from here and leave for the allotted time they're scheduled for. We contacted them prior to us closing to help make arrangements for them to continue their exchanges in a public and safe place while the facility is closed, so that they can still continue having the children spend time with the other party that they don't normally spend that much time with. So the other thing with the pandemic is we've had to implement a lot of changes in the procedure of how we provide the service. So we've had to, of course, acquire a lot of PPEs. We are not allowing anyone into the facility at the time unless, you know, they're here waiting for the exchange to take place, and they need to use the restroom. We're not going to deny them from doing that. So they'll still be able to come into the facility to at least use the restroom, and then we sanitize after they've gone back out. But what we have them do right now is they contact us when they are outside the facility, and then we do a visual confirmation that they are present. And when both parties have arrived and say that they are here, then staff will be the ones to go outside the facility, of course wearing our face mask and equipped with gloves if we need to assist in carrying over items that they need with them when they're visiting with the other party, like diaper bags, or maybe if the child is very young and they're still in a car seat or they can't walk yet, then we do assist in carrying them over as well. So we'll be the ones to go out and escort the children through a walkway that is outside our facility to the other side where the other party is waiting for them.
Grab Taco Bell's Nachos Party Pack whenever you're dressing up to stay in, getting some brownie points, or witnessing a miracle. Sorry, Jess. Go big with delicious nachos topped with all your favorites. Nachos Party Pack, only at Taco Bell.
I am Verna Chargleff Mendiola, and I am voting for Joe.
I am Danny Blas. I am voting for Joe.
I'm Marilyn Tablante. I'm voting for Joe.
I am Sarah Babauta Chargleff Titano, and I am voting for Joe.
I'm Steph Evangelista, and I'm voting for Joe.
I am Emily Caceres, and I'm voting for Joe.
Ako po si Junel Ombrero. Iboto po natin si Joe.
My name is Anthony James Sebastian Wolford, and I am voting for Joe.
I am Edith Blas, and I'm voting for Joe.
I'm Richard San Nicolas, and I'm voting for Joe.
I'm Senator Joe Shimizu San Augustine, and I approve this message.
Keep it safe. You're following regulations, but you probably go through quite a few PPEs in that process. So do you have a little stockpile? Are you looking for donations? Is this all acquired by donation or federal funding, grant money? If the people can help, I'd love to at least let them know how they can go about doing that.
Mm-hmm. So we do have some money from left over from other fundraisers that have been given to us or that we've acquired through other events.
Okay.
And so prior to the initial lockdown, we were already trying to stockpile some PPEs. But of course, we want to make sure we always have it and not run out. So we're still always continually on the search for PPEs and other items that may come in handy while we're providing our services. We have had some donations of PPEs as well. So we, I can't think of them right now, but we have some.
So if people do have a lot of extra masks, PPEs, or anything, they can, grab a huge box or sanitizer or something at the store. Would they be able to donate that? How would they go about doing that?
Yes. So even during normal operations, we're always willing to accept any donations that the community would like to provide to us. But right now, with the whole pandemic going on, we're trying to limit items from outside being
Okay.
in the facility.
That makes
right
sense.
now, we're limiting donations that we set down to just monetary or PPEs.
Okay.
So if individuals or groups or organizations would like to donate to us, they just need to give us a call. So they can call us at 642-4020 or 4022, or if they are able to email us and they have our email address, which is all lowercase one word, ericahse@gmail.com. They can reach out to us that way so that we can schedule or make arrangements for them to come to the facility, and we'll be ready and waiting for them so that we can go out to receive it.
Okay, so when this pandemic is lifted, and maybe somebody watches this on YouTube and they get interested in helping, what are some of the things that you would normally be looking for as far as donations? I know cash is always welcome, money is always welcome, but aside from that, are there any goods or products or anything that you normally have a need for that you would like when the pandemic is lifted?
We're always in need of cleaning supplies. The staff is our own janitorial service as well. So we're always cleaning. We always need to sanitize and stuff like that after visitations. We always look for toys so that when the children are visiting, they have items to play with. We usually try to keep a different array of toys in the room so that it can fit for the different age ranges of children that come here. So we have toys that are suited for toddlers and even up to maybe middle schoolers. And then we have more like electronic games for the older children. So we have some Nintendo Wii games, PS2 games, just a few PS4 games. So probably more on the lookout for toys that are more geared towards the older children, which is kind of hard to guesstimate what they're into.
Yeah.
MTO Maintenance will now completely sanitize your home, office, or business with state-of-the-art commercial sprayers. For over 30 years, MTO Maintenance has been committed to the health and safety of our customers. And now, more than ever, a clean home, office, carpets, and furniture is a necessity to our island. Give us a call today. Stay healthy and stay safe, Guam.
Call 647-6861 for an appointment.
What they're into right now.
I think whenever we do those toy drives, it's easy to buy toys for, you know, a toddler or a 2-year-old or a baby. When they get a little older, sometimes they get left behind. You forget what kids that age want because they're so particular. So that is definitely a need that you have. So anything, I guess, just call Erica's house if you're interested in donating, helping them out. Give them a call, see what the need is that day. I know now with the pandemic, things are a little different, but once things get lifted, then I think we can all do a little bit to help out. So Jolene, we're going to take a break now and come back. We are going to talk about this month of October and what you guys have planned for it. So we'll be back with more extra after this. All right, welcome back. And Jolene here talking about what you do over there at Erica's house. And October is Family Violence Awareness Month. And I know you mentioned you had a little promo with one of your partners, Infusion. So tell us about that.
So we have 2 intern students who are with us this semester and gaining experience in the field somewhat virtually right now. But they are spearheading a fundraiser for us wherein if you visit any Infusion branch and you purchase a house coffee, a portion of those,
portion of the proceeds. Yeah, there you go.
will benefit Erica's house. I'm so sorry.
Okay, great. So, everybody's going to go and get their coffee anyway. You might as well get an extra house coffee or a few more for the coworkers and help support Erica's House. Jolene, that just about wraps up our time here. But before we do go, I want to ask you, is there anything else you want people to know about, the state of visitation in general, or Erica's House, and what you would like the people to know?
Yes, I believe I did forget to mention earlier,
okay.
We do have on-site visitations, but as of right now, we have yet to resume the service. We haven't forgotten about our clients. We understand that parents would like to see their children, but our concern is the safety and health of all our clients as well as the staff. So maybe once more restrictions are lifted, and we are able to make sure we have everything we need to open up more and provide more services to clients and are able to come into the facility, then we can resume those on-site visitations for those that are our existing clients, or even those that are waiting to receive the service of on-site visitations.
Yeah, I mean, with this pandemic, everybody's had to put their lives on hold, their services. But, I think for a lot of people, businesses, organizations, you guys over there at Erica's House, it's a good time to kind of regroup, refocus, and then when this thing is lifted and it's, safe to go back, have the visitation. You guys are 100% motivated to provide this service that I think is important for the kids, the older kids, and the people on Guam. So Jolene, thank you very much for all that you do. Everyone over there at Erica's House, we wish you the best and hope you stay safe.
Thank you so much. Stay safe for you and everyone else too.
All right. You can find Erica's House on social media. Look them up, give them a call, ask them what they need. And if you need their services, they're definitely going to be there for you. And that's it for the show. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R.